Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to talk about cryptozoology. I think this is a curious and interesting topic. I found this topic interesting because it involves pseudoscience and science and puts them on a controversial point. This topic is about animals that people think are extinct or just people's inventions, but there is no scientific evidence that they exist. Some of these animals may be some kind of legend or myth that has passed from generation to generation without having any valid support. Some of these animals are Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, among others. Many people associate cryptozoology with entertainment such as fictional movies, TV shows, or mysteries horror series, and think that these stories can be told at a campfire. But they are far from reality because those who study cryptozoology think that this pseudoscience is a way to obtain information for the world in which we live. The main reason that cryptozoology has to argue their studies are the histories that had been generational storytelling by people, but that haven't only remained in myths or histories without foundation, but had been proven. Here are some examples. The explorer Henry Morton Stanley, best known for appropriating a large part of the Congo, wrote in his diary how strange he found it that the natives of the northern part of the country didn't show the slightest astonishment at the horses of his expedition, which caused a real astonishment in other regions of the Congo. The natives of the Gambuti tribe told him that their forests were inhabited by a similar animal, but smaller, which they knew as Oapi, better known in Spanish as Okapi. Morton was attracted by the history and went in search of what they rightly considered to be an animal that had been forgotten by science. After several expeditions managed to get hold of two skins of the animal, although he didn't manage to see it at any time. In 1900 he took them to the Zoological Society of London, which identified them as belonging to a species of which there was no record. The finding caused a boom in expedition in search of the animal, a strange cross between zebra and giraffe. Dozens of the specimens were captured, which ended up in zoos around the world. Although hundreds of specimens are kept in zoos, the okapi remains a species difficult to observe in the wild. Another example is the Homo florensis from the island of flowers in Indonesia. The ancient inhabitants believed in a dwarf haired man with an ape like face and poor languages. When Dutch explorers arrived on the island 500 years ago, it was still believed that this specimen of man exists, but no evidence was ever found. In 2003, a group of scientists found in a cave on island a skeleton 18,000 years old, which correspond to the characteristic given by the inhabitants of the island about the draft man that they called Evogugu. The Tasmanian tiger is one of the last species to have disappeared from the face of the earth. Although the animal had long disappeared from the Australian continent, when European settlers arrived in Tasmania, there was still an important population in the north of the island. In 1930, the last known specimen in the wild was killed, and in 1936, the last specimen kept in captivity died. However, although its extinction has been fully confirmed, rumors about the possibility of a specimen remaining in the wild had never been silenced. Australian authorities had been informed of hundreds of sightings but had never managed to find the animal. In 2005, a German tourist claimed to have photographs of the tiger, but their authenticity has not been determined. Another example is giant squid. Although it recites dozens of names such as Kraken in Norway or Teutus in ancient Greece, the presence of the giant squid is a constant in the mythology of the fishing peoples, but it was considered a legend. Between 1870 and 1880, a large number of squid were found straight off the coast of Newfoundland, with tentacles more than 10 meters long. In 2004, a travel caught a giant squid of the Falkland Island. It was the first specimen recovered in good condition. In 2005, a team of the research from the National Science Museum in Tokyo managed to photograph a specimen in the wild, and in 2006 they managed to record it on video. Now I'm going to talk about cryptozoology in Chile, since this country is no exception. Many legends or popular beliefs of humans' life begins or fantastic animals that passed from generation to generation in the beliefs of the Chilean people, and that some have unbelieved something that has been proven to exist or was believed extinct or also qualify as a new species. According to scientific and cryptozoology studies of them, we will enter to see the Chilean mythology and some species that had been found in this country and that were believed to be only inventions of the people. In the most popular legend of Chile, we can see some description of men and women of a small size, which agree to a certain extent with the man of the island of flowers in Indonesia. But here it is known as the Trauco, and people describe him as a small man with the face an ogre who has a stone instead of feet. We also know the Fura, whom people describe as a small and smelly woman who is the daughter and wife of the Trauco. We also know the Piuchen, which is a snake with wings that is bloodthirsty. These and other legends are part of the Chilean mythology, and cryptozoology has not been able to prove their existence. Now, We have always known that the whole world has been talking about gigantic marine creatures, as is the case of the giant squid, because in Chile it was proved the existence of a giant octopus. This specimen was found on the beach of Puno, near Puerto Montt. The measure of the octopus were 12.4 meters long, 5.8 meters wide, and 1.06 meters high. It has also been verified that in Chile there are several species that were not registered as existing in the scientific file, such as the yanca, which is a marsupial, and also the dagu of Mocha Island, which is an animal that was thought to be extinct, but certain specimens had been found alive on the island. In Chile, we also find the case of the Noria extraterrestrial, a small body with similarities to human of 15 centimeters that was found in the town La Noria near Atacama. For its particular conical aspect in the head was called extraterrestrial, and it was a news that in 2013 went around the world. But some time later, it was discovered that it was the fetus of a human with a certain deformities which died and was mummified more or less 40 years ago. This is one of the cases that exemplify how humans create legends and myths of things that exist but their origin is unknown. In conclusion, all these cases that are related to cryptozoology only make us realize that from the myths and legends that our ancestors told us, there may be animals or living beings that really exist or perhaps exist but that science ignores for lack of interest and research of them. Although they may also be animals or beings known, but that our ancestors attribute magical powers or use some kind of bad luck to justify some things that for them had no explanation. Thank you.